Well, hello there, welcome to Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix Round 10, Season 2 of my F1 2012 career. I'm Lovesbuds, and my objective is to finish first today, and here's my qualifying lap in Q3, made it through again. All I have to do is qualify in 8th, but we can do better than that, can't we? Yes, we can. This is a track I'm not actually that bad at, surprisingly. I do miss the old layout where it went into the forest. It usually goes straight on here rather than have this bend. I think this is one of the first circuits that Hermann Tilke was involved in. He done this middle section, I think. I think that's what that was. That's what I heard, should I say? But still, as a track, it's actually not that bad. Nice long bent straight, known as a parabolic, up to the hairpin here, and then back on to the old part of the track in a bit. I think this is still the new part. I don't remember this bit. No, I think this bit was put in, and then we come back onto the old track now, into the old section. Again, no times to compare to because I'm out in front of all the others are behind me. So whatever time I set now is the time I'm going to stick with. Mainly to save my tyres. That's why I try and do one lap on in qualifying, not to put too much pressure on tyres, not to wear them down too much, so they can actually be the best they can be for the race. So that's my time, a 1 minute 18, 0.046 should I say. And I nab pole by 1/10 of a second from Lewis Hamilton. He's followed by Alonso and Button down in 4th. Schumacher finishes, well, qualifies 5th. 3 tenths behind me, so that's good. Good pace from the both Mercedes there. Red Bull making it into the top 10. Never thought I'd say that, but that's the theme for this season. Both Lotuses up there as well, and the Williams. So after the second place in Britain, I'm looking to try and nab the win for the team. Everyone's eyes are on Mercedes, being their home Grand Prix. And there's a good start there. Got in front of Hamilton, who has actually fallen back to at least 4th, because Alonso is now in 2nd and Button is now in 3rd. Come up to the second corner. Bit of frame rate drop there. This is on the PS3 after all. But yeah, Alonso 2 seconds behind now. I'm going to try and build up a nice little gap. 17 laps. It's quite a long race, but the laps are short, so it sort of balances itself out. Now, what's been going on as we complete our first lap? Testing at Jerez, however you say it. It's day 4 today, I believe. Yep. Day 4, Friday, 8th of February. I didn't forget the month. I was just trying to clear my throat a little bit. And there've been a couple of problems for Mercedes. Speaking of them, but yesterday Rosberg managed to do 148 laps of the circuit, which is about the equivalent of around 600 miles. About two race distances. Now that is that's why these guys have to be athletes, practically, because a long stint in a car like that, for that amount of time, without that concentration, will take it out of an untrained person. These guys, they're just amazing. But anyway, he put in 148 laps without any issues, which was a hell of a lot better than when Hamilton got in the car the other day. Ended up putting it into the gravel, into the wall. Now, obviously, that wasn't his fault. If any of you read up on it, it was actually a brake failure on one of his rear tyres, which meant he couldn't actually stop it from going into the gravel and into the wall. He didn't hit the wall very hard, so nothing. It wasn't too much damage, just a bit of damage on the front, and that was it. Going off wide there a little bit. Yeah, it's okay, as long as we don't do what we did last year, which was spin, I think. Yeah, it was there. Yeah, I spun there and my Williams totally messed up the race a little bit. This year I'm feeling a lot more confident. I've actually got a custom setup, I think. It's not totally different from the quick setup. I think I just changed the gear ratios a bit to one that I found on Race Department. If anyone wants to know what setups I use, it's just purely whatever I find on Race Department. I test them out, see what's comfortable, and that's what I use for races. Some of them aren't suitable because they are time trial setups. Whoa, Alonso! What are you doing, man? Give me that place back. Come up on the inside. Bob's your uncle. Didn't realise he was actually that close. Looks like it's going to be a fight between me and Alonso. As Schumacher has made up to third. McLarens don't actually seem to be doing that well this time round, which is quite surprising, seeing as they've been like Red Bull were in 2011 almost this season. But no, they're not doing very well. Not in the top three, that's for sure. Probably about fourth or fifth or something. But good to see Schumacher is up on the podium position at the moment. Let's see if we can hold on to that. He's come around to complete lap 3. Alonso is probably still behind me, waiting to use his DRS again. There you go, Hamilton in fourth. Whoa! Yes. Yes. That. Yeah, I forgot that one as well. Yes, that really scared the crap out of me when that happened. So. And obviously that's to let Alonso pass, and now I'm under threat from Schumacher. But can we catch Alonso up? This is one of my better tracks to drive on as Schumacher tries to cut the inside. Should be okay to outbrake him here. Gone a bit wide on the hairpin, but I made the position I'll move stick. So now I've got to catch Alonso, the other man in the championship, who is a bit off of us. He's probably about down in fourth or fifth place in championship, but he's still a threat, that's for sure. So we ideally want to catch him up, and we want that win as well, because Hamilton is building up a bit of a lead in the championship, and I need to start closing the gap sooner rather than later. But it does look okay. I'm sort of catching up. Gone a bit wide there, ever so slightly, so that won't have helped. But if I can get back into the DRS zone, then I'm going to come knocking on his door. But now I'm a bit cautious of that first corner now. That threw me up in the air like what happened to Mark Webber in China, almost, where his front end lifted up and slammed back down. I was quite lucky I didn't end up in the barriers there. Managed to save that. I thought I'd lose more positions, but I didn't, at least. Whoa, sort of outbraking myself a little bit there. Messed it up slightly. Didn't lose any time really, I don't think. Should be able to catch up again. Pit stop phase should be coming up soon, so we should all dive into the pits in a moment. But yeah, the other testing news, Button set a good lap on day 1, which is quite a quick lap, which Massa was impressed by, who coincidentally set the fastest lap yesterday or the other day. Can't remember which day it was. He set us 1:17, but he should have been faster than Button anyway, because he was on the soft tyre. Button was using the hard. But overall the Ferrari is looking a lot better than it did at the same time last year, so hopefully it'll be a competitive car from the go. We've yet to see what it does in the hands of Alonso. He'll probably get hold of it when it's in Barcelona. But these first few testing days don't mean too much as I close up on Alonso. Let's hang on a moment. Ideally I wouldn't have wanted to smack into the back of him, but hey ho, he's kept the place. See if I can make a move into these next few corners if possible. I'm always a bit wary of following cars, to be honest, sometimes. Especially with the slightly less downforce you get from following another car. So he's going to get away for now. Probably be able to take him again when we next get to the hairpin. It's a prime overtaking place, that hairpin. But yeah, I was saying the Ferrari looking a lot better than it did last year, so it's good to see. The McLaren's looking good as well. I'm a bit wary of it though, because it's already had a problem with its fuel pump on Button's car the other day. A problem which was meant to be, yeah, it came to a stop yesterday, which stopped Rosberg from getting 150 laps in. That's a problem that should have been fixed after Hamilton stopped in Abu Dhabi. So, yeah, the unreliability may be a problem again this year. I really hope it's not. Does it come up on the inside of Alonso? Outbreak. Done it again, but just enough to stay in front of him. And here we go. I think they've got to come into the pits this lap. So, yeah, there we go. If you saw my tyre wear there, my front, all of my tyres are pretty much wearing down apart from my front right, which is kind of weird. Front right's hardly having any wear at all. I mean, look at the difference. That's weird. Never had that before. It's at least almost the same colour most of the time. I know most of the pressure's on the front right, front left, should I say, but still. See if I can get on the pit entry without going. Yeah. I hate this pit entry. I always go in too fast, but hopefully I didn't lose too much time. It may have cost me a few seconds. But let's see how this goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again I'm held up. Bastards! I think that if I didn't go in the gravel, it may have helped. But Ferrari have got their man out in front of me, and now I'm going to have to retake that place. Shouldn't be too bad. Bit of wheel spin, but it's under control. I am within DRS zone, so hopefully I should be able to make a move. I was going to go right, but then I changed my mind and went left. And again, I outbraked myself on a hairpin, which is kind of annoying. And that irritating thing when you go offline and you put the accelerator down and it just stops you from going any faster than a few miles an hour. Very irritating, but we're out in front of Alonso. Massa should be coming to the pits now, pretty much. And see where we are when we come across the start-finish line. Not much else to report though. As far as testing is concerned, there are a couple of problems with the lower end teams. A couple of them stopping out on track. It's Chilton and Peak or something. And as I say, the McLaren unreliability could be a problem again. I really hope it's not, because they had such a good car last year and he wasted it. But you never know. Yeah, Louis Razzia. Now driving for Marussia. Don't know anything about the guy. I assume he was in GP2. So he's a new one for the team as well. So Marussia have got two rookies, form of Chilton and Razzia. Let's see how they do this year. In terms of the back two teams, Peak is the most experienced. Now, I wonder what effect that will be in the race. Whether they'll end up crashing a lot or just getting in the way. They might be fine, I don't know. I mean, they've driven GP2 cars. I mean, it's not that far away from Formula 1. Even though Formula 1 is a big step up. But hopefully they should be able to handle the cars. It's not like they're in HRTs, which were pretty abysmal have a lack of downforce. Although, talking of downforce, Hamilton was saying that this year's Mercedes doesn't have the same level of downforce than the McLaren did last year. So it means Mercedes have got a hell of a lot of work to do if they want to hope to win. If they want to hope to win a race this season. No, it could end up being another year of gloomy results for them if they don't do something drastic, because there's nothing revolutionary on the car, apparently, from what I've heard. And for Hamilton to say it's got less downforce than last year's McLaren, should be ringing alarm bells. Should be doing something about that, because obviously the more downforce the better. If they ain't got the downforce, they're not going to keep up with the front runners. I expect they'll be fighting in the constructors with Lotus this year. They might even fall behind Lotus if they're not careful, because the Lotus is looking pretty good as well in the testing. And yeah, with the first this first test in Jerez, these first few days don't, in terms of times and who's fastest, it doesn't really mean anything, because everyone's running different tyres, different fuel loads, different setups, and most of the time the cars that you'll see in testing anyway won't be the cars you'll see on the grid in Australia, because they have got a lot of work to do on it, got a lot of changes to make, and so forth. So the cars you see now may not necessarily be the cars you see in Australia. They might be completely different cars, completely different ways of setting them up, completely different order in terms of times. So, as a general rule, you shouldn't read too much into their testing. Basically, you tend to look at the averages when it comes to testing in terms of lap times, and who's consistently fast, who's consistently slower. That's something which you have noticed, which everyone's noticed in the Ferrari. It's a lot easier to drive, it's better to drive. Mass is happier than he was last year. So as I say, you'll have to see what happens with that one. And of course we've yet to see the 2013 Williams as well, because the Williams they're running it in testing at the moment is the 2012 car with 2013 bits on it. So it'd be nice to see how that looks. I quite like Sauber's new colours though. I quite like black, but that's just me. I do like, I just generally like the colour black, mainly. But that does look like an interesting car. It's got very narrow side pods, which when you get towards the back of the car, they're not as narrow as they first seem. But I think the other teams were impressed with that as well. So it'd be interesting to see how they do as well during the season. And maybe I'll look at driving for them in the next game, if the opportunity comes up. That'd be interesting. I've never even considered driving for Sauber before. I haven't had a contract offer from them yet in this game, but definitely give that a thought if I get the chance in the next game. Because obviously my ideal progression would be to go up to the top tier teams from now. I want to change from Mercedes at the end of this season, go to a different team. Ideally I'd want to get into the McLaren at some point, either next season or the season after. If not, I'll just pick a different team. Even if it's moving over to Lotus or something, or even Ferrari if it becomes available. Because that's what I wanted to do this year in this game. I wanted to try and hop around teams as much as I can. Maybe stay at McLaren for 2 seasons, possibly. Just possibly. I'm not too sure about that yet, but see how that goes. We'll have to see what happens at the end of the year. Let's see. Let's also see who I get to choose in terms of my rival as well. That'd be interesting. Or maybe if I choose Alonso, maybe I can get Ferrari seat. That's if I don't get McLaren seat, of course. It's interesting. I'm sort of starting to get to that experience point in this game that the top tier teams are looking at me and maybe considering me. And I mean, apparently, if you do the young drivers test, you're meant to be more likely to get an offer from the team you've done the testing for. So you never know; it might be around the corner. If I can nab Hamilton's seat, that would be amazing. And speaking of Hamilton, he is about 3 seconds behind me. He's managed to make it up to second, which I was hoping he wouldn't. But he's actually been passed again by Alonso, so I think they're having a little bit of a battle there in the DRS zones. And to be fair, my driving is okay today. It's not actually that bad. I haven't really made many mistakes, which is what I need to do more of if I'm going to have a chance of taking the championship this season.
We have a problem with DRS. You won't be able to activate it.
Engineer put me off for a second there. DRS. My DRS does not work, which is fine considering I'm out in front. I shouldn't have to use it for the remainder of the race, as Hamilton is 3.5 behind and he's not getting past me anytime soon. Hopefully he's concentrating more on Alonso and Button, who are in a little tight-knit group behind me, fighting for that podium positions. And I can see Schumacher's just behind them as well, so I think he's in 5th, in a little bit of no man's land there. So he's going to score good points for the team, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough to catch up to McLaren, who are starting to run away with the constructors ever so slightly. I'd be surprised if we could catch them up. It would be a miracle, but you have to wait until the next half of the season to see how that one pans out. But the championship is definitely interesting this season. No one is particularly out in front, and that's how I like it. As I get a bit messy coming around here into this curve. I saw what it was called the other day. I just can't remember the name of it now. That's annoying. I definitely know that long curved straight thing is the parabolica. Never mind. Just flicking it up to maximum fuel mixture for the hell of it. I'm going to try and set the fastest lap on this lap or the next lap. Just for the hell of it. Do a Sebastian Vettel and prove a point. You see I'm about 4/10 up on the best sector time so far. Best lap's a 1:20.3. I think that's the fastest lap anyway. I can't remember who's the last one to pop up there. But I'm going to see how far I can push the car. I mean, like, why not, I suppose. Just to make sure I get like the triple, I get the pole, the win, and the fastest lap. That would be amazing. That sort of messed up a little bit. I'm a second up on my best time, I think, judging by what that just said there. And I'm increasing the gap to Hamilton as well, so unless I make a drastic mistake, I mean something worse than what I just did there, should be okay to take the win as we start the final lap of the German Grand Prix. Oh, the McLarens have moved up to second and third. Yeah, I lost a bit of time because I got a bit messy on the last corner. But now my last lap, let's see if I can put a good one in. It's a real shame that the McLarens have got up to second and third, because that's going to help them in the Constructors and the Drivers' Championships. Although I will catch up to Button and Hamilton, it's not going to be by much, unfortunately. looking good so far. Actually turning into the apex a bit better this time and following the racing line. Out a bit, but that's alright. Get on the brakes at the right time, otherwise you go on the gravel trap there. Worked out quite well. This is actually looking pretty good for a fastest lap here. So I can just hold on to it in that last bit. It's looking alright. 117, 118, 119. Looks like a good lap. As I win the race and Schumacher finishes 5th. A good day for Mercedes for sure. It wasn't a 1-2, which we actually need, but it's a good result.
Great drive, great drive. You dominated the whole weekend. Pole and the race win. Fantastic.
So there we go. 3 British guys on the podium again. It's a good year to be British, that's for sure. Alonso dropped off the podium in 4th, Schumacher 5th, Raikkonen 5th, Maldonado, Grosjean, Massa, Perez, Senna, Webber actually dropped down a bit, and Vettel actually finished in 19th. Slightly embarrassing for him, but there we go. I don't believe he had any real problems. Maybe he, I don't know, he must have hit someone or something, because his lap times were a little bit faster than those around him. So yeah, 25 points for me, 10 points for Schumacher, 35 points for the team. Good.
That result keeps you in 3rd position in the Drivers' Championship.
Keeps me in 3rd position, just behind, 2 points behind Jenson Button, who's on 144, and I'm on 142. And then Lewis has got a little bit of a gap in front of us on 164. Mysterious black in the background there. But he is less than a race win away from us, so I'm closing the gap. Well, me and Jensen are closing the gap. Schumacher is trailing behind me a little bit now. And the rest of the field, nothing too crazy. Apart from the HRTs in 21st position. That's strange. Oh well. Yeah, Fernando's in 5th. It's interesting. I get to choose my rival at Spa, so depending on what's going on at the time, I'll make my decision then, of course. So McLaren are 50 points ahead in the Constructors' Championship. They got quite a healthy lead for now. Ferrari in 3rd, Lotus 4th, and Red Bull down in 5th. Not good for them at all. Williams, Sauber, not having a great season either, really. But there we go. Let's celebrate our win in the McLaren sandwich. Oh, it's a good day to be British, it seems, and a good day to be a Spuds. So next up is round 11, Hungary. I'll see you then.